McGuire.
All right, thanks a lot, I appreciate it. Sorry about that.
So we're live.
Yes,
Billy Wadgerber texted me about zooming in. Is that something we're even gonna try?
no,
Okay. That's better, that's fine.
I could barely get this going.
That was pretty definitive.
Well, I sent it out earlier if anybody wanted it, and nobody responded, so it's too late to try to do it this moment.
Okay, a little bit late, but let's get started. Meeting's called to order. Welcome to all our guests, which is John and Samantha here today, Commissioner Jim Steinball. Minutes, the approval of the minutes in the previous meeting. They're in your packets. Anybody have any concerns over those?
I'll make a motion to
Motion to
approve
approve,
them.
second? Second. Any further discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Unanimous, Chad.
Okay.
Timmy Swanee Bar, do you have anything?
I do not, thanks.
Jeff?
No, sir.
Jim? I know you do in a minute. Bruce?
No.
I don't either. So we'll go to unfinished business. Chad, do you have anything?
Not really, just in general, I will state that, the solar we talked about last time, I haven't really had time to look into that since I got back. I sent everybody an example, just a general example of what some more comprehensive solar things might look like. So that's what staff and I will start to assemble some of that and put together a framework, and we can discuss that at a future meeting.
All right. New business. Bruce, zoning appeals cases?
Mr. Chair, quick question. Chad, do you intend to do that by the next meeting of the planning commission?
I think we should be able to have something together for everybody to look at the next meeting.
All right, thank you.
Good. Bruce, go ahead.
I have 7 new cases for this month for appeals at the Deep Creek watershed. The first one is for a special exception. This is submitted by Ebby Real Estate for a property located at 874 White Oak Drive, tax map 59, parcel 71, and is zoned like residential 1. It's for permission for a single-family 6-bedroom TBRU.
Any concerns on this one? Anybody say anything?
No, I've gotten approval from DNR and health and/or public utilities on that, so no issues. We did have a little bit of a parking issue, and I think that's been resolved.
Okay. Anybody have anything to say about this one? All right, moving on.
I would just point out that, so the last meeting, commission voted to approve the amendments to the ordinance and forward those on to commissioners. The commissioners have those, and they'll be considering those sometime in the future. So things like this special exception, maybe in the
Good.
future we won't be having that, but that will be up to the commissioners next. That is in their hands.
Second one is for a variance, application submitted by Carrie and Sarah Sundstrom for a variance to allow the construction of a new accessory garage to within 5 feet of the front property line. This property is located at 115 Winslow Lane, tax map 67, parcel 463, also zoned Lake Residential 1. This one's on there's some very odd shaped lots on Winslow Lane, and they have kind of a hardship on getting a garage in there in any sort of angle where they can get turned around to get the cars in the garage, so.
Any comment on this? Yeah? Set it on down.
Third one for variance, 816, application submitted by Marta and Charles Evans for a variance to allow the construction of a residential addition to within 17 feet of the side property line, and, I'm sorry, of the front, and 10 of the side property line. This property is located at 208 Upper Penn Point Drive, tax map 66, parcel 154, also zoned Lake Residential 1.
Any problem with this one you can see?
Not that I can say, it'll be up to the board to make that decision.
Anybody have any comments? Okay, next one, Bruce.
Next one is variance 813. This one was continued from, or postponed from last month. That's why it's out of numerical order there. This is application submitted by David Kim for variance to allow the construction of a pool and enclosure of it underneath an existing deck that is 1 foot from the rear property line on Garrett Highway. This is 19906 Garrett Highway, tax map 58, parcel 260, grid 16, zone town center.
That's close to Uno's, isn't it? Close to.
It is, it's in between Uno's and the, there's a group of townhomes there, I don't
Right, there's a
recall
dot.
the name of the.
You see any problem with this design or anything, or?
There was a variance requested for that deck years ago when the house was built, so I think that's one that the board will have some study on.
Any problem with this one? Bruce?
And he's really just
All right,
enclosing.
go ahead.
Next case is a special exception, 492, submitted by Silo Farm LLC, John Bell, for a special exception to permit the operate a catering facility banquet hall. The applicant proposes schedule events such as weddings, family reunions, musical performances, dinner theaters, and other activities. Property is located at the corner of Boy Scout Road and Boy Scout Crosscut Road. There's an existing silo standing there. That's tax map 66, parcel 484, zoned Lake Residential 2.
That property just changed hands, is that what?
It just changed hands and they're breaking that property up into a, Highland did a survey for that actually, and it's into 3 parcels. One will be, the major parcel will be the event barn, and then there will be 2 residential lots located off of Boy Scout Crosscut.
Cool beans. Anybody have any questions about this one? Next one, please, Bruce.
Next one is SE 493, special exception application submitted by Deep Creek Mastercraft and Sports for special exception permit to allow the establishment and construction of 3 indoor boat storage buildings and 1 office and maintenance building. The property is located along Garrett Highway at tax map 58, parcel 90, and is zoned Lake Residential 1. This is at the corner, just off the corner of Garrett Highway and Mayhew Inn Road. And if you recall, this same proposal was made several months ago at a different location off of Glendale Road. This is the Pratt's at Mastercraft at the, right there on Garrett Highway, by the McDonald's.
So if you turn off 219 and Mayhew Road, is it?
It's actually on the entrance will be on 219, just past Mayhew Inn Road. If you're coming from the lake toward Oakland, it would be just past Mayhew Inn Road on the right.
JG's
There's
at
one
Mayo
lot
Inn Road,
and
and
then
then
this one. Pardon?
JG's Bar, and then the Mayo Inn Road, and then that parcel
Well,
right
there's
there.
one more property and then this one. And it surrounds a kind of horseshoes around the home there.
Anybody have any concerns with this one? Okay, last one.
Last and not least, special exception 485. This one's been postponed several times. Application submitted by John and Christy Newsom for a special exception for an electric power generating solar array. This is located at 3573 Sand Flat Road, tax map 66, parcel 76, and 506, and is zoned like residential too. This one is getting a lot of feedback from the neighbors. I think I've received over 40 letters of discontent on this, and 2 or 3 in favor of. So this is causing enough contention that we've had to move the meeting to the Garrett College Auditorium to hear the case. So
What's the date of that meeting?
May 20th, 7 p.m.
I guess my question to the planning commission is, we brought this up last meeting, right? We're formulating a process or a way to deal with this in the future. Do we want to add any comments to send to the zoning appeals court or the commission, or do we want to just kind of let it go? I mean, we're gonna, basically what they're gonna have is 50 people against it, 10 people for it, or whatever it's gonna be. And that's where the contention's gonna be at. Then they're just gonna have to decide, I don't know, anything we can say or do is gonna hurt or help you. You know what I mean? That's gonna be a tough hearing, I think. What do you think, Chad? Do you think there's anything we can add?
Well, you have taken the action to move forward with coming up with some amendments and addressing it specifically in the ordinance. So, you can make that comment to the board that you are working on it, or, if you want to state something specific, the board can put conditions on it. The zoning board can put conditions on it if you have a specific condition in mind. But the board's gonna have to hear it and hear all the details of it at that night's meeting.
That's the process of government, right? You gotta go through the.
Yeah, it's just up to the planning commission whether you wanna put something, give them a formal advisory opinion now and ahead of the meeting, or, you have already taken action, just kinda wait on that.
I'm not sure that we can, without some kind of backing from what we put forward, it's kind of hard to put anything into words that would, other than the fact that it's gonna be a difficult case. Bruce, do you have anything to input into that, or?
No, I mean, it is gonna be a difficult case. There's certain things that the state of Maryland are demanding, and I think we need to take into consideration what the neighborhood considers harmony and so forth as well. So there's a lot to think about there.
After our discussions last week, is there an array that's already approved on top of the hill, and this is the one that's on the slopes that's gonna be more visible from Boy Scouts, so this is the second one?
That is correct. We, the board approved a 15 acre array that was on the same property, which was not very visible. When we did our site visit, we realized that, or the board realized that the array was going to be on top of the hill and kind of built on the back side of it, if you will, with a forest backing it. So there's also a partially forested on the north side of it as well. So there was a good bit of screening there by natural grades. The new one is proposed on the north-facing slope of that farm. It will be highly visible from pretty much everywhere, because the rest of that property sits in a bowl that is visible from Boy Scout Road coming out, Sand Flat Road, and Garrett Highway. So
How many acres is the second one?
it's not specifically written into the plan, but based on what they've already done and what the site plan shows. The whole farm, I believe, is about 148, 49 acres. And I believe the second one is gonna be probably about 90, 100,
40 or about 40 and 50.
40 to 50, okay. You guys did the site plan?
Great.
The grading permit, okay, thank you. It was an assumption.
I guess my question is, when this was brought in for special exception before, was this phase one, or was it, this was gonna be what they asked for?
They didn't call it phase one, they had a.
So this came up after the fact that they're already got approved for the ones behind the hill.
Correct.
I believe there were two separate entities that made application.
That's why I think it's difficult to put any kind of caveat on it, because, we got a situation where the two separate entities, they view it as two separate entities, I assume. Any input on you got one, Bruce, you can think of?
No, stop getting ready. Be a long one.
Bill, do you have anything to say about that? Because you know the property owner association stance on it and stuff like that, but
No, not really.
I just don't know how, if somebody could, Jim, go ahead.
The property owners association submitted an email that was addressed to us. I think he was copy on it, I'm not sure.
I have a copy.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I read it correctly.
I saw that one, anybody wants to read it, Bruce has a copy of it here. But I did look at this one, but, I mean, I guess, till we get the process started, until the process leads forward, I don't know if there's anything that we can do that can add anything to it.
I don't think you can add many specifics at this
No.
point, because we've already said we want to research it and come up with something more comprehensive. It's up to you if you want to put some sort of more general statement out to the board as an advisory position, I think.
We've had this discussion 100 times about the, lack of zoning or that, if you want to see this. Makes it difficult to govern a situation like this, and, we're aware of it, you gotta deal with it, then we end up with the board trying to make it work, which is even more difficult. But, I think we just have to, unfortunately, just let it go back down to them, and not spend a whole lot with it. You guys in agreement? I mean, the staff agree, I mean, I don't really know what to say.
I don't know if you could make a statement that maybe you want that to be tabled until the planning commission and/or staff come up with a plan to deal specifically with large solar arrays. I don't know what else.
I'm not sure legally you can do
I
that.
don't know that
with-
either. I'm
With
no
the,
attorney.
with the way, because there's nothing there to back up that statement. Am I correct in saying that? I'm not a lawyer, and I'm not, what do you think, John? Am I out of line by saying that? I mean, if we had something more definitive,
I think you have to work within the regulations you currently operate on.
Even though the regulations don't identify solar arrays, you know what I mean? That's the whole road. We don't know what,
right, so there's,
Box to
that's
put it
what I said, so legally, I don't know.
There's
What do you
nothing
think?
to base the decision on. It was probably a little easier when, on that smaller one where no one had issue with it. But now you're getting a lot of kickback, so I don't know what.
Chad, were you part of the meeting with the county attorney? There was a discussion about this?
Yeah, that was a month or so ago, it was a while back.
But
It was more of a general discussion about. I mean, the decision's ultimately in the Board of Appeals' hands, it's just up to the planning commission if you want to make any kind of, take any position in your advisory role to the Board of Appeals.
That's up to the board. I mean, I look at it from a standpoint that if either position you take, and if we don't have any, if the commissioners don't adopt what we're proposing, then we made a position that's not back by anything, you understand what I'm saying? So right now, we're out, these guys are stuck out in the middle because we don't have anything to govern this process, other than you guys.
I think in the past, the planning commissions maybe gave us advice, like pay attention to the community output or
Right,
something.
right,
You know what I mean? But other than that, I don't know whatever else they've ever done.
No, and I think this is a little unique in that, again, the planning commission took action last month. You decided not to adopt anything. You said we need time. We want to come up with some specifics, so you're doing that. So, I don't know that it's appropriate to adopt something specific, because you've already said we want to put some time into this. But you could, if there's specific things you, again, want to, like Bruce said, tell the board to be aware of or pay attention to, or you want to take a more general stance, that's up to the planning commission.
Well,
If
I
you all
think,
agree on
Bruce
something.
makes a good point, you wanna be conscious of the yays and the nays in the situation, you wanna take the community's response into, you know, account when they're dealing with it. I just don't know I don't know how tied your hands are to deal with, you know, to stop it. I mean, I think that's something that's obvious, that, I mean, somebody would wanna put that into the caveat and say, we hope that the consideration, or that the what I'm looking for, the constituents or the whatever, the county that are against the zoning or against the array have a, you know, opportunity to voice their concerns, and that is taken into consideration by the Board of Appeals. We can say that, if everybody's okay with that, but that's about really all you can, you know, that way, I mean, there's no way we could take a stance until we get something concrete, yea or nay against it, you know?
Well, I think that's probably all you can do at this point. And then I think it does need researched out, but I don't think you wanna take a long time doing that. I think you need to do that rather quickly and.
So you okay with that, Bruce? I mean, is that okay, Chad, to put something like that in there? Just
Yeah, it's up to you guys if you want to make a statement.
anybody, I guess that'd be a motion to place in there that the consideration of the constituents that are against this array are taken into account by the appeals board. Does that sound? Anybody give that a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Anybody second?
Sorry.
Second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? So moved.
Okay,
Okay.
so, the motion was to take public input into consideration.
Right.
Does that sound?
Yeah, my verbiage isn't very good, but it was. Okay, Bruce, thank you. That it?
Yep, that's it for the cases.
Well, you got a busy month. All right, let's go to North Camp Ridge, Section 5.
Yes, Samantha and John are here from Highland. We've all seen several sections up there at North Camp Ridge. Is this the last one? This will complete it. 47 lots in this one, so this will complete everything. You've already given preliminary approval and final approval to all the other sections, so I don't know if there's any other questions about this. But I forgot to ask, will there be any new bonds for this, or is this covered under the old program? Okay. So if you approve today, John and I'll work on that. We'll make sure we get the bonds in place before I release any plats. Any questions? I do have one for Bruce. Here's one for you. Sorry about that. The last time we had one of these, if you remember, there were a lot of questions about Wisp Adventure Road. That's still being discussed. John and I discussed it just a little bit ago. The county, I believe, will be willing to make some improvements, but we need to clarify details with the different entities that have some control of that road. So that is being looked at, and I think hopefully we'll be able to find some resolution to some of those concerns of the homeowners in those existing developments. Any questions on this one?
Anybody have any questions for John or Samantha?
Is this,
Everything okay with you, Chad?
is
Good?
this, is this in addition to the 45 lots that we approved not too long ago? So this is another 27, you said?
Yeah,
47.
47.
this will make a total of 174 for the project, and this will finish it.
But the last approval was 45, and this is 47.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, need a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
Motion, second? Second. Any further discussion? All in favor? All opposed? So moved, Chad.
Okay.
Just one quick question, John, since you worked on this. Do you have concerns about the infrastructure up there? I mean, more specifically, traffic flow? I mean, is the road network capable of supporting this many more lots when they're developed?
I think so. You know, the original idea was for perhaps 600 and some units.
I don't know.
Yeah, so we'll be done at 300 and something, 308, I think, for the.
And this will be it?
This will be it, yeah. Yeah, due to topography, and they changed, you know, they really were gonna do some vertical development, and that's, you know, it's all single family except for Ridge Run. I think there's some duplex units there, but, so we're well less than what was originally envisioned.
But these are all in public water and public sewer, right?
Yes.
They are,
Yeah, I mean, I'm concerned about water out there, too, so.
and your project is, you know, tying Fairville together with McHenry should go a long way toward,
Yeah.
toward helping that.
All right. Thank you.
Anything else for John? Samantha?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Comprehensive plan, Chad.
Yeah, so I think I gave everybody my comments last time. Did anybody have a chance to look over comp plan? Any comments?
I started, I looked at part of it, it's pretty bad going, there's a
Yeah.
lot to look at in there.
There's a lot to look at.
Well, do you want to try to go one more month and so we can work
That's
on
up
it?
to you guys. I mean, if you feel like you need another month.
Anybody want to input anything on it? You want another month to look at it, or you want, not like we're in any deadline?
I think, one, I think we're gonna be, very dependent on the staff
Mhm.
to sort it through the detail. And we can read it and all, I can read it and maybe pick up some things, but I think the bottom line is that we're gonna have to rely very heavily on you all to make sure that it's,
I think the biggest thing is looking at those action plans. So at the end of each
yeah.
chapter, you've got the action plan. That's what we're saying we ought to do. I've looked through all those and tried my best to compare them to what we sent, based on what the planning commission looked at. From what I can tell, everything's up, I think brought up last time, there was a steep slope comment that didn't get changed. We modified it some. From what I could tell, looking back through, everything got picked up. It was a little hard because some of this Debbie did, and it was a little hard to find all those notes. For everything I could tell, everything was good with the action plans. I didn't see anything that stuck out. So, it wouldn't hurt to everybody have one last look at those. I mean, if we still come back and everybody says, you know, we've kind of changed our mind and we need to be stricter or more lenient with one of those proposals, we can still do it. But this is kind of our last shot. I think they're accurate, but does everybody still agree with what we thought back then? My other comments were pretty minor. I already forwarded those to ACOM after the last meeting. I haven't heard back from them. They were just minor, you know, grammar, punctuation comments that I.
It has to go out to the public at some point, doesn't it?
Yeah, so the next step will be if we're all okay with it in general, we send it to other jurisdictions that about the county and things like that. The state has to take a look, so there's some other interagency reviews where they get a look at it. And then, once we have it where we all feel good about it, then we can present it to the public. They have a chance to comment, and then the planning commission, if you approve it then, based on public comment, it'll go to the county commissioners, and then they would have final say.
You want to start that process this month to get it out to some people, and then we just comment on it last or next month, or what do you
If,
think?
yeah, if everybody feels, I would like everybody to feel generally okay with those, at least those, the policies and plans.
Right.
If everybody at least looks at that part, then I feel comfortable. I don't want to send it out and everybody say, well,
No, I think that's comfortable. That gets the process moving forward a little bit.
Yeah, I think if everybody will at least look at those, then next month, I think we need to kind of have a hard deadline of saying everybody's at least gonna look at the policies and plans. You don't have to read every single line, but if you look over those, that's the summary. Make sure we're all in agreement with that. I don't wanna put something out there for review and then us have to backtrack and say, no, we thought about it and wanna change our
But I think it's in a position now that it probably could be sent out to, because I mean, there's not a lot there that you can pick apart.
If everybody feels okay sending it
You feel
out, they
okay with
can.
that?
I just wanna make sure
Everybody
everybody's
good
had a
with that?
chance
Tim, you good
to.
with that? Tim's shaking his head. I think go ahead and put it out there and let them start
Okay.
comment, because any change, I mean, if we find a major change, we're gonna fix it.
Okay,
Right. But I don't see that being a problem right now. That gets you started on the
Okay.
process. Get it off your, probably wanna get it off your plate at some point, I would think. Okay, any other comments on anything else?
I just have a question. At the last meeting, when we were talking about making those adjustments to some things to avoid all the obvious answers that we're gonna end up having at the meeting, where's that at now? Is that in process?
yeah, I've given it to the county commissioners now. I forwarded it on, and now it's up to the county commissioners. They'll have to schedule a public hearing, or as part of one of your public meetings, I think you can do it, and then they will have final say, so they can vote on it as is, or if there's something they don't like, they could, ask for it to be changed.
Okay. Cool.
That's in process. And I
Okay.
think that will take care of, as you saw this, I think this last meeting, we had 7 cases. Hopefully that will take care of some of these, reduce the number of cases the Board of Appeals has to hear.
Next meeting, June 2nd.
Yep.
I'm thinking it's gonna be maskless. No more masks. Take them away.
Sorry about the delay getting started.
I'm trying to get you back to you, Bill, because we didn't do Zoom.
No, I was sitting there and I couldn't get anything to happen. I better get in the car.
Technical difficulties.
You fine?
Where are you going?
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
You're not that
Yeah, this is the
far
only one I
away.
had.
I didn't hear from anybody, when I sent that first email out, I didn't hear from anybody wanting Zoom, so I just,
Actually, I didn't see one.
oh, really?
Maybe that's why nobody responded.
I sent one that,
I just looked, I went back, didn't see any emails that I got from you over the last month.
Yeah,
The only email I had was.
Yeah, Mike Llewellyn.
I sent it last
Yeah, because it
Yes.
wasn't even on
Then all of a
my.
sudden,
Well, I
I
got
got the
some-
one this week, yesterday, and I
Thank you,
thought, oh,
Tom.
shoot, yeah, but I never
well,
saw
I'll
the
double
first.
check, cause I
Yeah,
said, I have like a
it
planning
didn't
commission
even-
group,
It
and I
didn't
just,
even pop up on my phone as a meet, normally that stuff just
I did
pops up.
what you did, I said, crime related, and it wasn't.
I'll double check the address,
All right,
because
good, I realized I didn't delete it.
Yeah.
I sent it to everybody, and I got response from like Bruce, and, Bruce said he'd be there, and Jim Heimball said they'd be there, and I didn't hear from anybody else. That's where I sent out the, video stuff. So what I've been doing is just emailing everybody, so if you're gonna come and you want any of this stuff printed, I don't understand if you guys want to print, just let me know, and I'll have it waiting for you. But I think instead of if everybody's okay with instead of mailing all that stuff out, it's just,
2 pages.
Sounds good.
but I'll double check my little group that I have, make sure everybody's.
But I got the one from yesterday.
That's what's weird, because I just
That's
pop
all
up,
happened too.
I just pop up planning commission as a group and just send it to everybody. And I didn't get any kickbacks because, I had attachments. I didn't get any kickbacks saying, sometimes if somebody has a filter set, they don't allow attachments.
It's possible I accidentally deleted it
Or-
when I was trying to delete something else.
Or maybe it's going in a junk folder because it has
Could be, I didn't look
attachments.
there.
That's, I had you under junk.
That's probably one of the least offensive categories people have there.
Alrighty.
No, thanks again, sorry for the delay. It's not that many steps, but like when I'm thinking about this other stuff, it's just like, sometimes it gets a little complicated getting all these. It wasn't one to line up with the live feed and stuff.